Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Hum, a Kansas Hoops podcast via the Field of 68. I'm your host, Sam Lance, and I'm here with Jackson Bezdek. And Bez, Kansas got him. They got their guy in the 2025 class, Darren Peterson. We're going to discuss that today, some takeaways from Washburn, and then preview Howard a little bit as the season opens in Allen Fieldhouse tomorrow, Monday, November 4th. So, without further ado, let's get into it. We're up to episode 44 now here on The Hum, coming up next. Well, all right, Jackson, it happened. The number 3 player in the class of 2025, the best guard in the 2025 class, Darren Peterson, has announced his commitment to Kansas. That happened on Friday, and that now gives Kansas their highest rated recruit since Josh Jackson in 2016. Bez, I'll just open it up to you. What are your first thoughts with DP to Kansas?
This is big time. This is big time stuff for Bill Self, getting his first kind of dude in the NIL era. Like, you know, Kansas isn't known for having great NBA players like a school like Kentucky would be known for, right? But DP is absolutely one of those one and done type dudes. Guys that Self doesn't really go after a whole lot. Grady Dick, yes, but kind of a different, Grady wasn't at this pedigree that Darren Peterson is at. Darren Peterson's at that Josh Jackson, Andrew Wiggins pedigree. He's legit that good, that talented. He will be here for legit one season. So enjoy it as much as you can, Jayhawks. But this is very big going forward now that Bill Self's getting these type of guys in any era that he wants.
Kansas went ahead and got Bucket Jones. I don't know if you've heard about Darren Peterson's little alter ego, but he says on the
Hmm,
court he goes into this other mode called Bucket Jones. So
great.
Bucket Jones is going to be a Hawk. Uh, One of the big things that his father kind of talked about leading up to this commitment is that Kansas sees him as the face of the program. And you think about it, Kansas is losing a lot of pieces next year, and Darren Peterson is probably going to slide in and play right away in the starting lineup, play a lot of minutes, and really be one of the faces of the Kansas program. I like what you said, Bez, about kind of the NBA guys. If you think about it, Coach Self has put a lot of guys in the NBA like the CBs and Ochai Agbaji's and Devontae Graham's, the Frank Masons that weren't necessarily supposed to get there. But I think it would be really cool to see him win with an NBA stud and to see Darren Peterson really be that guy that you look to whenever you watch Kansas in the NBA. It's really cool to see what CB, to see what Grady, to see what Ochai are doing this year. I want to see more of that. And I want Darren Peterson to be an absolute dude in the league that we could look forward to, making all-star games and all of that, just kind of like Joel Embiid. So, yeah, this is big. This is really big.
No, absolutely. It's something that it just doesn't happen a whole lot at Kansas. So when it does happen, you really gotta you make a great point. No Dickinson next year, no Dewan next year, complete roster turnover. And it is going to be Darren Peterson, you are the guy now. Like he is going to get a ton of shots. He is really going to have, like I'm telling, like an Andrew Wiggins type role with Kansas. That's something that hasn't happened since then. Even Josh wasn't the first option because Frank was on that team, right? But DP is going to be the first option next year.
Yeah, he's projected a top 3 pick in the NBA draft for 2026. And from everybody that I've kind of talked to, first of all, I'm super upset that I didn't get to see DP play at all this past summer. If I would have known the whole Rock Hill thing was going on right before Peach Jam, I would have gotten to South Carolina a lot earlier and spent some time going to watch Darren Peterson. So I'm upset I haven't gotten to see him play. But from the people who came over to Peach from Rock Hill, like a lot of them were saying how impressed they were with Darren Peterson and how he's really, H.A. Dibansta, Cam Boozer, people kind of see that as the 1-2 battle. A lot of people that I talked to said that Darren Peterson should be and is in that conversation as well for the best player in that class. So, yeah, Darren Peterson, it's a great get. He's an Adidas high school NIL athlete and plays for Adidas sponsored Prolific Prep. in California. So also got the Adidas connection there. It's just a great start. It's probably the best first commit that you could have in the 2025 class for Kansas to get things rolling.
100%. I mean, you talk about those other two guys. Dibance's a wing and Boozer's a big. So you have a guy like DP. This is literally the best guard that anybody could have gotten in this class. I mean, this is a huge, huge get for Kansas. Gets Kansas back into those conversations for these top five, top 10 guys that just, it's not that Kansas is never considered, but guys release their top fours, their, top 10 5-star guys. Kansas is never in them, right? But now Darren Peterson commits. This is just really good momentum for Jeremy Case. This is a Jeremy Case recruit. So big ups for J Case, and he's gonna be. This is not the last top five, top 10 guy Kansas is gonna get in the coming years.
Yeah, I agree. The 2026 class is absolutely loaded, and Kansas is in with a lot of guys in that class. That's going to be very interesting to track as we get to next year. I want to talk a little bit about what is next in 2025. Kansas has Samus Calderon, who is a small forward out of Overtime Elites, like a 6'8" small forward who's really gained a lot of national buzz and attention lately. He will be visiting during the Howard game tomorrow on Monday, and then Bryson Tiller doesn't decide this Monday, but the coming Monday will be Bryson Tiller's decision date. At this very moment, if I had to predict who it would be, I would probably predict Kansas. And then Muhammad Silla, we talked about him last episode. He was on a visit. I would expect Kansas is probably leading there too. He took a visit to Georgia Tech, I believe, as well. But I think Kansas ends up pulling that off. Again, it's kind of looking like Kansas will have a three-man class. Three-man is kind of what I'm thinking, and the rest will go portal. But Darren Peterson, a huge addition to start. I want to make a point about Nate Ament real quick. I believe that Kansas is still involved there. And I believe that now with Darren Peterson locked up, Kansas is going to push a lot more for Nate Ament. Like, hey, we got this 5-star. Why don't you come along too? Join.
Yep.
You guys would make a great pairing sort of deal. So look out for a possible official visit from Nate Ament. And that's kind of where Kansas stands right now. That, got Darren Peterson locked up. I would expect Tiller this coming Monday, and then Silla, Calderon, and Nate Ament. Kansas is going to be in there for until their recruitments wrap up.
Let's do it. You're exactly right. That's what I'm trying to say. You get that one 5-star, hey bud, And DP's part of that process now too, right? DP's gonna be on the phone with these next couple guys, like, hey, let's go. Come on, let's make this happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Now it's time to talk about Washburn. Kansas played Washburn in an exhibition game and won it pretty good. It was 84-53 final score there. Kansas outscored them 38-22 in the first half and then 46-31 in the second half. A lot of players in double figures in this game. You had Diggy Coit with 19. You had Rylan Griffin with 14. Zeke Mayo with 16. And then you had Flory with 10 points, 4-4 from the field. He also had a team high 7 rebounds. Bez, what did you think of this game? Just kind of how the guys looked. I thought it was a complete flip in terms of just energy and passion of playing the game than the Arkansas game.
100%. It was just nice to see open threes being shot and being hits. That is, something that we haven't seen in a couple calendar years. So it's good to see guys look confident taking open shots. First thing that sticks out to me, Diggy, first possession, misses his first one, hits the second one. There was no hesitation. A lot of guys that have played for Kansas the past couple years are not going to take that second three after missing that first one. Diggy had no hesitation, absolutely drills it. Floodgates are open after that. Other than that, transition, they look athletic, man. Like we've got some athletes. And like we talked about, it was tough to see against Arkansas because they have some athletes, but that was a part of the game that, you and I we weren't really concerned about, oh, Kansas got completely out athleted by Arkansas. Like, no, that's a very high level program with very high level athletes. And now you go against a team like Washburn. Now it's like, oh, okay, we do actually have some crazy athletes on this team.
Yeah, I just thought KU played with a lot more pace, just energy in this game. I think it showed a lot, kind of like what we mentioned last episode, the Arkansas episode. Bill Self was probably on him pretty hard
Yep.
during practice, and I think it showed on the court. I was ready, Bez, at a certain point in the game to have just an entire episode on Diggy Coit because he was just going off. And then Zeke Mayo had that what, like 2, 3 minute spurt
hmm
where he
hmm
scored like 12 points in a row. And I shot off a tweet. I was like, welcome home, Zeke
Yeah,
Mayo. Welcome home. I thought both of those guys, what they did, I get it's an exhibition game. I get it's against Washburn. Seeing those guys confident is probably a really good sign for this Kansas team moving forward.
definitely. That was so huge for Zeke. You know, he really struggled against Arkansas, and I touched on that quite a bit last episode. It's, Washburn kind of not like I was kind of trashing the Summit League, and then he come out and play Washburn, like it's not even close to the Summit League. But, that's just all that's confidence boosting. And sometimes I feel like we forget how historically awesome Kansas shoots in Allen Fieldhouse. Last year was just not a very good shooting team. Kansas is like, I remember Svi, his senior year, dude. He was literally shooting like 55% in Allen Fieldhouse from three on high volume. Like, there's just something about it. Jayhawks shoot really well in Allen Fieldhouse every single year, it seems like. So to have Zeke actually see the ball go through the net, actually see himself get by guys pretty easily, and actually be in the flow of the offense. I mean, like practice probably hasn't been easy for him either. You're going up against Kansas every time at practice, something he hasn't seen at all the past couple of years for him playing at South Dakota State. So, I mean, it was really refreshing, and it's great for him. It's going to be good for his confidence going forward.
We thought there was going to be maybe a potential lineup change in this game, and I thought it was going to be AJ Storr who ended up being out, and we were completely wrong. There was a lineup change, but it was Zeke Mayo. The starting five against Washburn was DeJuan, Diggy, AJ Storr, Flory, and KJ Adams. And Bill Self said after the game that the only reason he benched Mayo is because he couldn't get him to shoot the ball in practice. So he wanted him to shoot the ball in the game. And man, Zeke Mayo shot the ball in
Yep.
that game. He looked really good, made a lot of threes. Uh, really not a ton to take away from Washburn. Just the fact that I thought the guys played hard, looked really good, and really everybody made some sort of contribution there. I know Rakis, he was 0 of 5 from the field, but he had 3 assists, 3 rebounds, knocked down a couple free throws. Jamari McDowell was able to come in, hit a 3 pointer, had about 4 rebounds. So really just kind of everybody contributed in that one. And then KJ Adams had a pretty mean triple single with 8 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. I mean, that's pretty mean.
That's pretty KJ for you right there. If he does that every single game this year, I'd be pretty happy. Go 4 for 5, 8 points, dish out some assists. Don't turn the ball over either. That would be nice.
Let's kind of shift gears now. Kansas is going to be playing Howard to open the season in what they're calling the McClendon Classic at 7 p.m. Tomorrow on Monday. Howard, no pushover. They've made the NCAA tournament the past 2 seasons, and if you remember, KU actually knocked them out of the first round in 2023. Uh, Believe it or not, this is pretty hard to do in college basketball, but from that team that was knocked out by Kansas in the first round in 2023, 5 players remain on the roster for Howard. So they're going to be hungry, Bez. They're going to be hungry to come in and slap Kansas and Allen Fieldhouse. They're also the projected winner of the Mid-Eastern Conference. While that is one of your really low mid-major leagues, they're still picked to be the winner. And they also have the preseason player of the year and Bryce Harris. They also have this Marcus Dockery, who's a double-digit scorer for them, was second team all league in the preseason. So Howard, it's going to be a nice little test to start the year for Kansas.
Yeah, it should be. Howard, as like you said, they make the tournament. And when you play in these games, that's kind of what you look for. Like, hey, what is this? Does this team ever make noise in March? Howard doesn't necessarily make noise. They usually get stuck at a 16 seed, but hey, they are a 16 seed. That being said, Kansas should still win by 30. They are not actually good at basketball, but I do like the fact that they've got those five players. This is now what, 2 years removed from that team? So
Years.
that's really impressive in itself. And yeah, I mean, the first half might be close, man. It might be like an 8 point game, 12 point game at halftime because they're going to come out ready to play. But even if it is, I still wouldn't be worried at all.
Yeah, the big thing to note here for Kansas is that Hunter Dickinson and Shaquille Moore will play. Per Bill Self, he said on I believe it was Friday that he anticipates on having a full squad. We have not limited reps since the game Tuesday with Dickinson and Moore, even though that may be the case kind of moving forward, but we haven't limited reps. So it looks like Shaq will see his debut this season. We'll see Hunter Dickinson's debut. Neither of them played in the Washburn game. I don't know about you, Bez, but I'm excited to see the first, 20 and 10 from our man, Hunter Dickinson, against Howard. And I think that'll be a good game for him to kind of get the ball rolling because North Carolina comes into town on Friday.
Indeed. Yep. That's just really good news. You and I weren't concerned about the injuries, but it's nice to actually hear Bill Self say we are not concerned at all. They are a full go. Because Kansas basketball and injuries, Bill Self sharing with the media, not so great history over the past few years with that. So it's anytime Bill comes out and says these guys are 100% healthy, I really appreciate that. So thank you, Coach Self.
Yeah. For sure. I think a really cool thing to note here is that KU has won 51 straight home openers now. Would expect it to go to 52, and that streak began in 1973-74 under Ted Owens. He won 10 to start the streak, and then Larry Brown won 5, Roy Williams won 15, and Bill Self is 21 and 0 on opening night. And Bill Self also very notable that he is nearing Fog Allen, surpassing him for the all-time winningest coach in KU history. He's also 5 wins from number 800 in his career. He needs 3 wins to pass Fog Allen. So hopefully that just goes Howard, North Carolina, and then is it Michigan State right after that?
Yeah, yeah, knock him out.
There you
Just get
go.
it out.
There you
Bill,
go.
just get it out of the way. You don't want to have to worry about it all season. Just win your first five, get your milestones, and let's play basketball.
Yeah, there we go. So, some big milestones coming up for Coach Self. I'm excited to see how this team looks just fully together for the Howard game. I think that'll be really cool. Is just seeing all these different guys actually play on the court together. And you already know the crowd. It's
Mm.
a 7 p.m. game. The crowd's going to be absolutely rocking there. So excited for Howard.
Yeah, I'm excited to. We got a little taste of Rylan Griffin in the exhibition against Washburn also, but I want to see the full. What are we, 11 deep right now? Something like that, maybe 10. I'm excited to see that. Washburn and Howard, two different schools. Washburn, Topeka, Kansas, Howard, HBCU. So probably going to be a little bit different play style here. So it'll be interesting to see while still way better than their opponent, it'll be a different type of game. So I still want to see the offense play with pace, though. I really liked that, and I hope that's kind of the direction they go. But we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. We will be back at the under 4 timeout really quick. We're just going to do our rotation projections against UNC on Friday, kind of discuss how we're thinking the rotation is going to shape out. So we'll see you at the under 4.
If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM Sportsbook. We are going to be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 throughout the year. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use bonus code FIELD, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. The best part, all you need to do is deposit and bet $10 of your own hard-earned money to be eligible. Here's how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using that bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure that you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. BetMGM is going to have some fun offers available throughout the NBA playoffs. Bet insurance tokens, odds boost, and what I love, a nice parlay boost or two from time to time, as well as a ridiculous array of player prop bets for any sport that you could possibly imagine betting on. BetMGM is and always will be the king of the prop bet. So go download the BetMGM app, use the bonus code FIELD, and sign up today. And while I've got you, a quick request. The best way to support the Field of 68 content that you get for free is to engage with us. Rate and review the podcast. Like and share the YouTube videos. Tell your friends about us. It all helps in a world where the algorithm is king. And now, back to the show.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Hum. Of course, we mentioned before going to break here, Kansas plays UNC, North Carolina in a rematch of the title game from a few years back on Friday. It's going to be the first big game of the season, and Bill Self has said that Kansas wants to win these types of games early in the season. They want to win these, and he also kind of alluded to his rotation being maybe 8, maybe 9, maybe 10 guys deep. So we're here to kind of break down what that will look like. I think the first thing to note is that Self said that he does not want anybody playing over 30 minutes per game this season. I think that's very important. So with that, I wanted to start my little rotation. You get 200 minutes to work with. The two people that I'm putting at 30 minutes are DeJuan and Hunter Dickinson. I think Self is really going to try to not get them on the floor more than 30 minutes, but it's probably going to happen. So I'm going to put them at 30 minutes. I'm going to put Zeke and KJ Adams at 26 minutes. And then I'm going to put AJ Storr at 25 minutes. And that is my starting lineup, the starting five right there. Then I got Rylan Griffin off the bench as a six-man, also averaging 25 minutes, the same as AJ Storr. And then I got Diggy getting 12 minutes. I got Flory getting the 10 that Hunter will not be on the court for at the backup 5. And I got Shaquille Moore and Rakeem Passmore both at 8 minutes. That actually equals the perfect amount of minutes we need. So, Bez, what do you think of my rotation? Would you change anything? What's the word?
I think it looks great. It's very similar to what I have. When I initially made mine, I still think this. I still would have Rylan starting over Zeke, but I get why he's not. So I had them just like you though. They're all going to play the same minutes, right? Rylan, Zeke, AJ are going to be around 26, 28, you know. You alluded to it. DeJuan Harris is going to play more than 30 minutes a game. I mean, he might play 32 minutes a game. Like that, I appreciate Bill
It
saying
depends
that.
on the game. Like it
Right.
depends on the
For
game.
Friday against UNC, maybe because it's game one and he can actually like, okay, this is what we're game planning. Big 12 play starts. If you see DeJuan in the entire game like last year, that might happen. Other than that, though, I really like your bench. The Flory minutes to combat the Hunter minutes. You might see them on the floor together at some points. I don't think to start the season, just because you want to keep your rotations a little square, big in, big out. Don't complicate it too much. But yeah, the Shaq Diggy off the bench is going to be really interesting to gauge, especially since we
Don't
haven't
know.
seen Shaq.
Don't know
We
where
haven't
to
even seen
go
Shaq
there.
play. We have no
Yeah.
idea what's going to happen. And then pass more, of course. But
The
yeah,
minutes between Diggy, Shaquille, and Rakis are the ones that I think are the
yeah,
ones up for grabs. It's about, 25 to 30 minutes per game that I think is really going to matter on A, who are we playing? What's the matchup? And B, how are those guys playing? How are those guys doing in practice or in the game
vibes.
as it's going on? So it's interesting, man. Options, a lot of
Yeah,
options.
that is nice. Especially nice to have bench options too, because you can get stuck like, oh, we're eight deep, but then your three bench options are your three bench options, and if they're off, then you're really off. So, hey, Shaq's not having a good game. Let's throw Diggy out there. Oh, Diggy's not playing that well. Rakeem, you're gonna play 20 tonight. That's something that they can do night in, night out, and not have to worry about.
There's just so many people on this team that it's going to be hard to keep off the floor,
Dude, you
like
don't have any Clemens minutes, bro. No Clemens minutes, Sam? I also have Zach Clemens playing 0 minutes per game, so that's all right. Maybe if Flory gets in foul trouble and Dickinson's in foul trouble, then that's a
I,
whole
I
different
think
world.
Flory. I think if Flory and Hunter get in foul trouble, we're gonna play small, run KJ at the 5, and then just shoot the piss out of the ball.
We
I
should
mean,
do that anyway. Just run. If we're not going to be good defensively, let's just run everybody out of the gym. We just mapped out the minutes for you. The top 9 of those guys are crazy athletic guard wings. Just run, 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 run.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
Well, all
that
right.
sounds good.
That is all we have for you guys today. We will have another episode out before the UNC game, likely on Thursday morning, is what I'm thinking with UNC on Friday. We'll have a guest to chat UNC with us. I'm super excited to get the season going. I don't know about you, Bez, but this is probably one of the better schedules,
Oh yeah,
seasons, just that
non-con at least.
Kansas has had in a long time, and
It's
I'm
gonna be
ready to
super
get
fun.
going.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Well, all right, everybody.